Hello everyone and welcome your faces back to the channel. My name is It's Just Joe, and if you're new here, we make content on Little Nightmares all the way from theories to let's play to glitches, you know, lots of stuff. Go back on the channel, there's lots to cover. And today we are talking about some of the Little Nightmares news that's come out recently. Now, for those that don't know, we've recently had a tweet come out from a game called IdentityV. Now personally, I had no idea what this was in the slightest, and I don't know if you knew about IdentityV, but I did not. All of a sudden, it's been very stagnant on the Little Nightmares news page and content ever since the announcement of the trailer, which again, it's killing me inside. I would like new information. I can't keep waking up every morning depressed though, because there is no info. There is some brand new information. So, we know, again, we've had something from the trailer. We've had nothing from the trailer up until this point, where we've had a tweet from IdentityV. Again, I have not heard of the game before in my life, so I might have brushed upon it on my Dead by Daylight phase. It's not the usual standard Little Nightmares that you would know of this news. It's actually a collaboration between Little Nightmares, of course, and IdentityV. Now, IdentityV is very, very similar to Dead by Daylight. It's mainly aimed at a mobile audience, and I believe it's made by a Chinese company called NetEase. And of course, that's where we are. That's as much information as I really know until today, where I think you'll see some footage of it, for instance. I had no idea about the game. It looks, once I did play it though, it looked very, very similar to, you can see what they were going for. It was very Dead by Daylight-y, asymmetric horror, you know, you got a hunter, survivors, yada yada, you'll see in the footage. And what's quite interesting about IdentityV is it has actually quite a unique identity. I know, weird. It has a very unique art style. Think of it as a sort of Coraline mixed with DBD sort of state, but for a mobile game. But what is interesting about it is that, of course, I'll get to the point at some point. We have had a tweet confirming from IdentityV that IdentityV and Little Nightmares is getting a crossover, and this is going to be released on April the 25th, and it's going to be part of like one of their IdentityV's events. So sort of like how Dead by Daylight handles their events, I think they have something similar. So on April the 25th, we are going to get access to some playable characters, and of course they are going to be Mono and Six. In the world of IdentityV, they are called Mono, the Axe Boy, and of course Six, the little girl. So I do think, after looking a little bit more at it, I do think they are just going to be a cosmetic item. Again, I'm not upset with that. I like the idea, and again, we're going to go into it a little bit later. I like that idea that they're pushing it further, and again, it is just the two skins going in. Of course, Six actually has a gnome with her skin, which is quite interesting. But it leads me to something that I had been thinking about for quite a while, and it's Little Nightmares and collaboration. Now, I personally feel Little Nightmares collaborations have to be quite careful. Recently, there was a form from Fortnite, for instance, and I know a lot of us play Fortnite. I had my brief encounter with Fortnite a good year or two ago, and played it since, probably should. But recently, even Fortnite did a poll about what they would want to collaborate with, what would the players vote, and Little Nightmares was on that list. Again, it's worth mentioning that, you know, those collaborations, we have no idea how in-depth they would be. If it's just maybe an item, you know, a gnome backpack, or, you know, flying in a paper airplane from the depths and stuff like that. We don't know how deep it is. But when I think of collaborations, I want to taste the world of Little Nightmares in a new game. Now, I say this, and I've titled the video the way it is, because I can see that there is going to be, and I think it is very, very plausible, that somewhere along the line in this sort of in-between content, or when Little Nightmares 3 does come out, I really do think it's possible that we could see a Dead by Daylight Little Nightmares collab. The hard part about it is that the collaborations, again, have to be handled in such a way that sort of matches Little Nightmares' aesthetic and art style and mood. This is why credit where credit's due, I actually do think IdentityV is a very good shout for Little Nightmares. It was actually quite on the money for that. It was the setting for IdentityV is quite on point. A lot of the characters are just like kind of like small dolls, and like they have like the button eyes and things like that, and that translates very easily into a Little Nightmares art style. And you know, again, think of Coraline. It's a great little introduction to have. What's also interesting though is I remember thinking about a Dead by Daylight collaboration years ago with Little Nightmares, and the hardest part about it is it would be a massive risk for Bandai Namco to say, okay, we're going to make a collaboration, but this collaboration is not going to feature Six, Mono, the Runaway Kid, any of the kids from the comic. If we're going to have a collaboration with something like Dead by Daylight, again, has to fit the theme of Little Nightmares. It has to fit the whole aesthetic. It has to fit. And I think what's hard about that is if you're putting it in Dead by Daylight, in reality, the only real model you could probably get into Dead by Daylight is, of course, the actual residents of Little Nightmares. So it would be a killer. But interestingly, if you take some of the features from Dead by Daylight and some of the mechanics, they kind of already apply to some of the creatures and, the residents of Little Nightmares. For instance, you could probably put, again, it goes a bit against the character, like the nurse, for instance. You could put possibly a geisha skin on her, and that geisha skin could be a Little Nightmares skin. And that's where I think the collaboration could sit quite nicely. And of course, we could see the Fin Man, Mono, and Mono is a Fin Man, but spoilers. But you could see like a Fin Man or like a kind of chef outfit for the clown, for instance. I think when it comes to sort of collaborations like that, we won't ever see like a full character collaboration. It will just be a bit of set dressing from the universe, basically. And I am all for it. I don't mind it. I would never negate that possibility for Little Nightmares to expand, to make some more people more curious about the game and come check it out. That is never a bad thing. Collaboration is always a good thing, and I very much welcome it. Obviously, I'm just some guy. It's always interesting to hear what you think about it, though. I would love to hear your comments about collaboration in Little Nightmares. How far do you think they should go? Where should they stop? For me, I think personally, for instance, I would love a DBD collaboration. It will make me start playing DBD again. But I think a Fortnite collaboration, I think, has to be very carefully done and crafted. Again, a few items from the Little Nightmares world. That's about right. I can see that. But I do think IdentityV is an actual very good shout. And I have personally never played IdentityV. This has actually just introduced it to me. And it's, again, vice versa. And that's the end goal, is to enjoy the extra content, which I think a lot of us do. Again, we've got a bit of a news drought at the moment. We've got no news from the trailer. We've got the trailer, and then we've got nothing, and then we've got this. And personally, I will take it. It just shows how much they are willing to try and keep the IP going and trying to expand it further and get everyone involved in that world of the Little Nightmares manicness. But let me know what you think in the comments below, and let me know what you think. And of course, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit subscribe and do all the usual stuff. Again, I really would love to hear what people have to say about this. Again, I am all for collaboration, always have been. Again, I think it has to be in the right setting, and I think IdentityV, even though I've never played it, I've played a few minutes of it today, I do think it's a good setting. And again, it leads me to that belief that I do believe Dead by Daylight could be a very good candidate to it. And also, I did forget to mention that Dead by Daylight is actually even easier, I think, to acquire because of the connection. So for those that don't know quickly, Dead by Daylight is currently having a spin-off game made by Supermassive Games, who make Little Nightmares 3. So I think the team split off. And again, we'll be talking about the layoff and how it might affect Little Nightmares 3 in a different video, but again, that's a whole topic in itself, and it's a very sad topic. But those two sort of teams work within each other in the same company and studio, and it generally doesn't, it's not going to be difficult for them to communicate some type of collaboration, I imagine, because of this connection. And I think that's why it's a good shout that DVD might be next, or possibly somewhere down the future, but that would be cool. But anyway, let me know what you think. I've probably blabbered for about a good 13 minutes now, so I do apologize. But with that being said, as usual, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Have a lovely morning, day or night wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next Little Nightmares theory video.